You walk into the small Amish mercantile in the next town over, and you stop at the shelf by the back wall. One row, 6 bottles deep, plain brown plastic, white labels, 3% strength. Hydrogen peroxide. $3 a bottle. The same brown bottle that has been sitting on Amish kitchen shelves and bathroom cabinets in this country for over 100 years. Unchanged. Same strength, same use, same place in the house. Then you walk into the average American home, the kitchen, the bathroom, the laundry room, and you count the bottles. A specialty cutting board sanitizer, a specialty produce wash, a specialty refrigerator deodorizer, a specialty mold and mildew bathroom spray, a specialty grout cleaner, a specialty laundry brightener, a specialty whitening toothpaste, a specialty mouthwash, a specialty nail brightener, a specialty plant root treatment. A dozen different products, a dozen different bottles, a dozen different prices. Now I want you to sit with this. Almost every one of those specialty products has the very same active job that a $3 bottle of hydrogen peroxide quietly handled in American households for over 50 years before the cleaning industry expanded in the 1960s and 70s and started selling families a separate bottle for every separate task. The brown bottle did not stop working. The brown bottle was just forgotten, and the families that forgot it ended up paying $400 to $600 a year on specialty products that one $3 bottle used to handle all on its own. My name is Elias Yoder. I am Amish and I farm here in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Esther and I keep one brown bottle of 3% peroxide on the kitchen shelf and another one in the bathroom cabinet, and that is the whole of it. No specialty sprays, no cutting board sanitizer, no produce wash, no grout cleaner. One bottle, 2 locations, 10 uses, $3. The way our mothers and grandmothers kept a household for generations. Today I'm going to walk you through 10 real uses of hydrogen peroxide that modern science has now confirmed, every one of them backed by actual research, the FDA, the CDC, the Cleveland Clinic, university food and dental programs. No invented bulletins, no fake studies. But I will be straight with you about the title first. Folks who tell stories about this bottle sometimes wildly oversell what it can do, claiming it cures cancer, or cleans your blood, or treats serious infection, or works as some universal medicine. It does none of those things, and you should not use it for any of them. What it does, used correctly, is replace about a dozen specialty cleaning and personal care products you have been buying separately for years. That is the honest claim, and it is more than enough. Stay with me. And let me tell you plainly what this stuff actually is before we go through the 10. Because once you understand it, every use makes simple sense. Hydrogen peroxide is water with one extra atom of oxygen bolted on, and that extra oxygen is loosely held and wants to break free. The moment the peroxide touches living matter, a germ, a mold spore, the organic film on a cutting board, that loose oxygen tears away in a rush, and it is that rush of oxygen that does the killing and the lifting and the cleaning. And here is the beautiful part of it. When the work is done, what is left behind is nothing but water and a little harmless oxygen. It does not leave a poison or a perfume or a residue sitting next to your food or on your child's plate. It does its work, and then it becomes water again. That is why it has been trusted in kitchens and sick rooms for over 100 years, and it is why one plain compound can do the work of a dozen fancy ones. Now the 10. Number 1. Cleaning a small cut or scrape once and only once. This is the use most folks already know, and the one the industry has worked hardest to make you forget, because they earn far more on antibiotic ointments and specialty wound sprays than on a $3 bottle that lasts a year. You rinse the cut first with clean water to carry off the dirt. Then pour a small amount of 3% peroxide right onto the wound. You will see it foam up white, and that foaming is real chemistry. An enzyme called catalase in the damaged tissue reacts with the peroxide and releases oxygen gas, which physically lifts the dirt and the dead cells and the bacteria up and out of the wound. The Cleveland Clinic confirms this works for the first cleaning of a minor cut. But here is the honest scope, and this is where folks go wrong. It is for the first cleaning only. That same oxygen action that lifts the bacteria out also harms the healthy tissue that is trying to heal, so repeated use actually slows the healing down. After that first cleaning, the old Amish rule is plain water for the rest of it. Some in our community lay a thin layer of clean raw honey on the cleaned wound, and there is honest peer-reviewed research behind honey's antimicrobial properties for a surface wound. One first cleaning, then plain water, then time. And for anything deep or serious, you see a doctor, plain and simple. Number 2. Sanitizing the kitchen cutting board. The FDA places hydrogen peroxide on its generally recognized as safe list for food contact surfaces, and the Cleveland Clinic recommends 3% peroxide for sanitizing a board. It kills the E. coli and salmonella and the other bacteria that raw meat leaves behind. After cutting raw meat or poultry or fish, you wash the board with hot water and dish soap the way you always would. Then you spray the surface well with 3% peroxide from a clean spray bottle, and you let it sit 1 full minute before you rinse it with plain water and stand it up to dry. A wooden board especially benefits because the bacteria settle down into the grain where soap alone cannot reach. Esther uses a little maple board that belonged to her mother, near 40 years old, sanitized this way after every meat, and it is as clean as the day it was cut. The specialty board sprays at the store run $8 to $12 and are mostly water with a little antibacterial agent. The $3 bottle does the same job with the FDA's own blessing. Number 3. Cleaning the refrigerator inside, and the rubber door gaskets especially. Those gaskets collect food and moisture and bacteria down in their folds, and bleach dries the rubber out and cracks it within a year, and then it leaks your cold air and raises your electric bill. Peroxide does not harm the rubber. You empty the box, spray 3% peroxide over the walls and shelves and drawers and right into the gasket folds, let it sit 5 to 10 minutes, then wipe it down with a damp cloth and go over it once more with plain water. Peroxide breaks down into nothing but water and oxygen, so no chemical and no perfume sits next to your food. It is one of the cleanest, safest refrigerator methods there is. Number 4. Cleaning the bathroom grout and the tile mold. Grout is porous. Moisture soaks in and mold grows down in it. Bleach kills the surface but never reaches the roots, so the mold is back within a week. Peroxide actually penetrates, and its oxygen action reaches the mold colony down at depth. You spray the 3% right onto the grout lines and any visible mold, and you will see it foam wherever the mold is living. Let it sit 10 minutes, scrub it with an old toothbrush, and rinse with warm water. For a heavy case, make a paste of 3 tablespoons of peroxide and 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Spread it on the grout, let it sit 15 minutes, then scrub and rinse. The two together work far better than either one alone. The specialty mold sprays run $9 and last about 3 uses, and the peroxide is gentler on your lungs besides. Number 5. Brightening the whites in the laundry. Bleach yellows fabric over time, weakens the fibers, and can eat holes in cotton, and it reacts with the iron in older plumbing to leave yellow stains. Peroxide does none of that. You simply add 1 cup of 3% peroxide to a hot water wash, along with your regular detergent, and that is the whole method. Whites only, your shirts and towels and sheets, kept clear of the darks, because peroxide is a mild bleach and will slowly lighten a color over many washes. Esther has done the family's white shirts and bed linens this way for 40 years, and the linens are still bright. It works out to about 25 cents a load, roughly a third of what the specialty oxygen bleach products charge, and the chemistry is identical, because those products are simply hydrogen peroxide with a marketing budget. Number 6. Sanitizing your fresh produce. The FDA lists peroxide as safe for food contact use, and peer-reviewed food science has documented that it significantly cuts the E. coli and Salmonella and other surface pathogens on fresh produce. You fill a clean sink or basin with cold water, add a quarter cup of 3% peroxide per gallon, and submerge your fruits and vegetables, the greens, the berries, the tomatoes, the apples, for 5 to 10 minutes. Then you drain, rinse briefly with plain water, and dry them on clean towels. And there is a benefit folks have noticed for generations. Produce washed this way keeps longer because the peroxide kills the surface mold spores that spoil it from the outside in. Strawberries that go fuzzy in 4 days will often last a full week, and lettuce stays crisp far longer. For a family that throws out spoiled produce every week, that alone can save $30 a month. Number 7, a mouthwash, and I am going to slow down here because the science is real, but the honest scope matters enough that I will give you the safety word before the method. Diluted and used in moderation, 3% peroxide can serve as a mouthwash, and modern dental research confirms it works against the bacteria that cause gingivitis, with a mild whitening over time. But hear the rules plainly. Always dilute it. Never use the full 3% strength. You mix it half and half with water to bring it down to 1.5%, and that is plenty to kill the harmful bacteria. Limit it to 2 or 3 times a week, never daily, because daily use harms the good bacteria in your mouth that protect your teeth and gums. Never swallow it. Spit it out completely and rinse with plain water after, because swallowing 3% peroxide is genuinely harmful. And keep each rinse to 30 seconds, because longer will irritate the gums. So the method is 1 tablespoon of peroxide, 1 tablespoon of water, swish 30 seconds, spit, rinse. 2 or 3 times a week, not daily. The dental industry charges $8 for a 1% peroxide rinse in fancy packaging. The chemistry is the same. And if you have real dental trouble, that is a matter for your dentist, not a bottle. Number 8, whitening yellowed or stained fingernails. The Cleveland Clinic confirms a peroxide soak as a real method for brightening discolored nails. You put 3 tablespoons of 3% peroxide in a small bowl of warm water and soak the nails 3 minutes. Then pat them dry and rub a little olive oil or hand cream around them so the skin does not dry out. Stop if you feel any irritation, and do not use it if you have cuts or broken skin around the cuticles. That is the honest note. The specialty nail brightening products run $12 to $20, and the $3 bottle does the same work. Number 9. Treating root rot and oxygenating a struggling houseplant. This is real organic gardening tradition, 50 years and more. Plant roots need oxygen, and when the soil gets waterlogged or packed down, the roots suffocate and a fungal root rot sets in. Peroxide delivers oxygen right to the root zone and kills the surface fungus. For a houseplant, you mix 1 tablespoon of 3% peroxide per 1 cup of water and use it in place of 1 regular watering right at the soil line. It breaks down into water and oxygen within a few hours, the oxygen reviving the roots. Esther does this to the little herb pots on the kitchen sill whenever one starts to yellow despite proper watering, and within a few days it usually comes back. Outdoors, same ratio at the soil line, but sparingly, once every 2 or 3 weeks at the most, because too often will harm the good soil life. Number 10. Soaking your seeds before planting for faster germination. This one is documented in agricultural extension publications going back decades. A seed has a natural coat that resists water in the spring, and peroxide softens that coat and delivers extra oxygen to the little embryo inside, so it comes up faster, and often a higher share of the seeds come up at all, which matters most with older seed. You mix 1 teaspoon of 3% peroxide per 1 cup of warm water. Set the seeds in it anywhere from 30 minutes to a few hours, depending on their size. The small seeds less, the beans and peas and corn longer. Then drain and plant them right away. The Amish did a version of this for generations, with rainwater treated with a little peroxide kept in a stoneware crock by the back door. They did not know the exact chemistry of it, but they knew their seedlings came up faster and stronger. Now, the critical safety word, and I will not close without it, because this bottle deserves respect. Rule 1. Use only the 3% strength, the brown bottle, from the drugstore. There is a 35% so-called food-grade peroxide sold online, and that strength is genuinely dangerous. It burns skin on contact and can cause serious eye damage, and it is handled as a hazardous material. Stay with the 3%, always. Rule 2. Never mix peroxide with vinegar in the same bottle, because the two make peracetic acid, a corrosive that gives off harmful fumes. You may use them in sequence, peroxide first, rinse, then vinegar, but never combined. Rule 3. Never mix peroxide with chlorine bleach, because that makes a toxic gas, and truly you should never mix any cleaner with bleach at all. Rule 4. Keep the peroxide in its original brown bottle, because light breaks it down. Poured into clear glass, it loses its strength within weeks, but capped in the brown bottle in a cool, dark cabinet, it keeps its full strength 2 or 3 years. And Rule 5. Keep it away from your eyes, and if you ever splash it in, flush with cold water a full 15 minutes and get medical attention. These 5 rules are not optional. The Amish have used this bottle safely for over a century precisely by respecting them. I will tell you a small story on this. When I was a boy, my mother kept the brown bottle on a shelf just inside the pantry door, and it was the answer to near everything. A skinned knee coming in from the barn, the cutting board after she dressed a chicken, the white shirts for Sunday meeting, the strawberries she brought up from the market. 1 bottle, and I never once saw a second cleaning product in that house. Not a spray, not a tub, not a fancy bottle with a brand on it. I did not think a thing of it at the time. It was only years later, standing in an English friend's home and looking under his kitchen sink at the wall of bottles crowded in there, a dozen of them, each for one small job, that it struck me. He was spending in a month on that shelf what my mother spent in a year, and her kitchen was every bit as clean as his. He was not foolish. He had simply been sold a story, 1 bottle at a time, that my mother never was, because nobody in her day was selling it. Now I want to take a moment, because here is where the whole of it comes together. 10 real uses of one $3 brown bottle. the wound cleaning, the cutting board, the refrigerator, the grout mold, the laundry, the produce, the diluted mouthwash, the fingernails, the plant roots, the seed soaking, every one of them verified by real research from real institutions, done by real families in real Amish households for over 100 years. And look at what those 10 replace at the average household. A wound spray, a board sanitizer, a fridge cleaner, a mold spray, a laundry brightener, a produce wash, a mouthwash, a nail product, a plant treatment, a seed starting solution. Somewhere between $90 and $150 of specialty products, each rebought every few months for a household total of roughly $400 to $600 a year. The peroxide that replaces all 10, $3 a bottle, 2 bottles a year, $6 total. The honest savings, near $400 to $600 a year, every year, for the life of the household. Over 20 years of running a home, that is thousands of dollars saved on chemistry that one brown bottle handles on its own. There is no money in the cleaning industry, or the dental industry, or the produce wash industry in teaching folks that a $3 bottle handles a dozen jobs they are buying separate products to do. But there was a great deal of money in selling those separate products in fancy bottles with brand names and color-coded labels, a different one for every room of the house. So the simple old knowledge sits quiet on the mercantile shelf and in the cabinets of the farmhouses that never forgot. The bottle was never lost, it was only forgotten, and you can be the one who remembers. So here is what I want you to do. This week, walk through your kitchen and your bathroom and your laundry room and count the specialty products on the shelves, and be honest with yourself about how many you bought to do one single task. Then go to the drugstore and spend $3 on one brown bottle of 3% peroxide and keep it in that brown bottle. Start with the cutting board this week. After your next meat, spray the board. Wait a minute. Rinse, dry. Next week, try the produce wash. The week after, the bathroom grout. Add one use at a time, and within a month, you will have taken a half-dozen specialty bottles off your shopping list, and within a year, your household chemistry will cost a small fraction of what it did, and your home will be every bit as clean as it ever was. Tell me down in the comments, which of these 10 surprised you the most, and which one are you going to try first? And if your grandmother used hydrogen peroxide for something I did not cover here, share it, because those little family methods are exactly the kind of inherited knowledge that gets lost when nobody writes it down. I read every single one. Next time, since we have been speaking of the small, forgotten household chemistry, I am going to walk you through the 7 real uses of plain white vinegar, the other bottle in every Amish pantry, the one that handles a whole different set of jobs the cleaning aisle would rather you forget. It is the natural next step after today. Until then, find the brown bottle, count the bottles you no longer need, and remember that the cheapest cleaning chemistry in the world is the one your grandmother already had on her shelf. That is how the old folks did it, and that is how it is still done in any farmhouse that remembers.